Yeah, it's your boy Danny J. Quick, and I'm here with Kyron Silva. And we want to thank you for joining the Four Tales podcast.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
We're about to talk some comics and get a little bit controversial. Everything from indie books to movie deal level commercial. With no rehearsals when we converse to coerce you. And then we do the quick takes and try to get to the person. So join us and get your comic book a few more sales once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales. Once a week wherever you pod. It's Four Tales.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions respectfully brings to you the 148th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I'm your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the lavender lyricist of Ace Blade, Danny J. Quick, and together we are your two award-winning Blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on the Age of Geekdom Network via Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. So what's for dinner?
Spaghetti.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thought you were gonna catch me lacking, huh?
I honestly, yeah.
Always gotta provide for the fam, man. We gotta take care of the family.
Okay.
But yeah, man. How you been doing, brother?
I'm all right, man.
Got Black Comics Days this weekend, right?
Next weekend.
Next
So yeah, if anybody's in the San Diego area, if you guys want to come down to the World Beat Cultural Center in San Diego, come check us out for Black Comics Day on the 15th and 16th of February. I'll be there. Greg Anderson Elise is going to be there. Keithan Jones, Brian J. Lambert. I think Malachi Bailey is going to be there. Jason Reeves, Robert Love, just Kevin Garbo, creator of Underworld. He's going to be there. It's a bunch of people. So, if you want to come hang out and check it out, please feel free to come down. We would love to have you and buy some stuff because, yeah, it's expensive to travel down there.
How far is that away from you?
8 hours driving.
Jesus.
Wait. I'm flying though.
Okay,
I'm flying this time. Last year I did drive down, and it took me 8 hours by myself to drive down there. This year though, I'm leaving Sacramento at like 5 o'clock in the morning, flying to there, and then heading from the airport directly to the event.
Okay.
And then after the event Sunday, I'm flying back home.
Hey, that's a smart way to do it, man. Driving 8 hours, that's a full day of work, man. I'm at the point now where I can't do the long drives like that anymore. About 4 hours is about my max right now.
I don't mind driving though. Actually, I don't. There's something about being by myself, not having to worry about anybody. If I'm driving to an event by myself, I can do a full day driving and be okay. Now, if I'm with the family, that's completely different. So
I don't think I've ever done that. I don't think I've ever driven by myself. I always have one of the kids with me, or like Morgan or somebody. Like I don't think I've ever done an event that I had to drive more than an hour or two to that by myself. So
you should try it sometime.
Nah, I like being around people.
Okay.
Speaking of being around people,
okay.
Mr. Fish Lee is not being around people right now, much like me.
That's right. You sick people.
We both decided to launch Kickstarters on the week that we were going to get sick. Like I don't know how you scheduled your sickness, right? When but hey, Fish Lee,
I had help with the kids. Thank you, man. It's wonderful to be back. I'm glad to be here. But yeah, my wife and kid were sick for a week before the campaign launched, and I'm trying to be dutiful and take care of her and everything, and then I got it, and turns out it's COVID. Hooray! That always passes nice and easy and quickly.
Man.
COVID can't be transferred through the internet, right? Like I'm safe, right?
Not if you have good internet. Yeah, so it depends on how much you're paying.
I pay a lot, actually.
Okay, well then there you
Terrible.
I hope you feel better, man. I hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, me too.
go. I'm on the mend.
Okay. So what are we talking about today? Because I really need to go back and see if you have now overtaken the leader role for most appearances on our show. I really do need to do that. You might at this point.
Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? I would love that. That'd be awesome. I've been shooting for it. This is one of my favorite shows. I mean, this is my favorite show to come on. This is absolutely my favorite show to watch.
Man,
This is one of the shows I actually have an alarm set, several Alexas going off in every room to remind me no matter where I'm at that I need to come watch Four Tails. So
Our
hopefully,
viewership is down by half because you're here.
I'm telling you.
you and the one other person that watches us faithfully. Now we really do appreciate you jumping in, man, and always watching and supporting, man. But we're here to talk about Greenzone this time, right?
Yeah.
Last time it was
real quick,
called.
T.S. Luther in TikTok says, "Howdy, everybody."
What is up,
happening?
TS?
What is happening? What's up, Brad?
He is
On it?
awesome.
There's our number two. There's our number two right there.
There's the other half
Oh,
of the
there's the other T.S. Luther. All right, T.S. Luther is on TikTok and on YouTube. He's everywhere.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love it.
I'm telling you, man. He's everywhere you want to be.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, T.S. Luther's that guy. Don't you? What's the show that you and he do together? What is it called?
Bickering Beards.
Bickering
Yeah, it's-
Beards. I caught y'all
Yeah.
live one time, and y'all are hilarious together, man. I love it.
Yeah.
It's fun, and when the conversation's good and people start asking questions and stuff, it gets really good really quick, and it's really interesting. That day we didn't end up covering any of the stuff we planned on talking about because we got so busy answering everybody else's questions.
Okay. All right. So, what are we talking about today then?
We are talking about Greenzone issue 1 through 4. If you haven't checked out Greenzone before, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. It takes place in a world where anybody could be born a mutant, but it is illegal to be born a mutant. The whole world looks at you as a supervillain waiting to happen. I know the idea of the government just making it illegal to be who you were born to be is a crazy, fantastical idea that could never happen in reality. But if you want an escape from reality to see what it might be like if, fascist people decided that your whole species was illegal and dangerous and a threat, and you need to be locked up and concentrated into camps called green zones and, forced into giant overbuilt ghettos called the blocks, then this is what that might be like. And the only way to get out and prove that you're not a threat to humanity is to serve the greater good for 5 years.
That would
Basically prove you're one of the good ones,
This sounds like it could never happen in real life.
No, never. I mean, never. It's an absolute fantasy. I swear to God, this was a fantasy when I came up with the idea. I didn't pull it from the news.
Oh, okay.
It was pure fantasy. It wasn't a documentary series when I started it.
You didn't want it to be a documentary series when you started, but
I didn't want it to. I thought it was pure fantasy. I thought this was a ridiculous idea that would never happen again because we've already seen what happens when dictators do things like that. But, sometimes we got to live it 2 or 3 times before we learn our lessons. But so if you want to work your way out of the green zone, if you want to get your green card and get your citizenship and move out and make a better life for yourself, you have to prove that you're not a threat to humanity, that you're not going to actually, turn around and rob a bank when you get out or something. And so the way to do that is as a civil servant for 5 years. Now, a lot of people are like, why would they let the people they hate be cops, be in charge of them? But nobody looks at the G Unit cops as real cops. They all look at them as like mall cops. The other genomes look at them as race traders. They do most of their policing in the actual green zones. So it's kind of like, picking people from the camp to be in charge and, of the other people in the camp. And if you can prove that you can handle that responsibility, then the humans will give you your green card and you can move out. And they like to pat themselves on the back and say, well, they could pull themselves up by their bootstraps if they wanted to. If they really cared, they could, prove that they weren't a threat and they could make a better life. But they don't tell you how hard it is to make it to the end, how easy it is to get arrested if you accidentally use your powers. Like Bellamy is 5 feet tall and covered in razor sharp quills all over her body. If she bumps into somebody and accidentally sticks them, she could go to prison for the rest of her life. Like in issue 2, after she nearly gets her and her training officer killed by cops for just stepping out and scaring a human lady, and the human lady starts to scream, and then the human cops show up and they nearly get arrested. When she mouths off, her training officer grabs her by the arm and ends up getting stuck in the hand. By the end of issue 3, she's laid out on the ground and we don't know if she's going to live or die. Like, it's a big deal if she sticks somebody with these quills, and she accidentally stuck her training officer. And what's going to happen? Is she going to go to prison for the rest of her life? Is the training officer going to survive this infection? If you've seen the end of issue 3, it ain't looking good for her. By the end of issue 2, the police station's been blown up. This is halfway through their first shift, and their police station has been blown up with them in it. It's chaos. It's madness. This is a dangerous, dangerous way. Only the most desperate would take this path to try and get out and make a better life for themselves. But, if you want something better than what you got, if you want to live off something more than scraps, Virgil, the big giant 8-foot lizard monster that's in most of the stuff, gets a lot of the attention. He's a big, scary looking dude. He's the kindest, sweetest dude in the world you'd ever want to meet. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. He's been absolutely alone his entire life. He's never had a mom or dad taking care of him. He's never worn a piece of clothing he hasn't fished out of a dumpster. He's never eaten anything that he hasn't picked up off the ground. He has struggled his entire life to survive in the blocks.
Did you model Virgil after me?
Partly. It's partly you and partly me. It's a collage.
We say inspired by.
Inspired by. That's right.
So that you can't sue fish later down the road. When the movie gets made, this is inspired by the life of Kyron. But man, Fish, man, I always lovingly call you the fastest pen in indie comics, but that's facts, man. And I recently found out that you even stress work too. Is it just drawing that you do as stress work, or what kind of work do you like to do when you get stressed?
Yeah, I mean, there's other anything that's systematic that I can do. Like, I actually like doing dishes, because it's gross and I don't like doing it, but you do this, you do that, and they're done and it's finished and the job is done. Whereas laundry, you can be doing laundry all day and there's still freaking laundry to do. I hate that job because it's never done, but I can be done with the dishes and they can all be clean, and even they could be the grossest thing in the world. But if I take XYZ steps, they'll be clean and they'll be put away, and then I'm done. And I like that.
I like that. And as far as laundry goes, sometimes I'll just do my laundry and just be like, hey, I did my clothes, and my clothes are folded and put away. The rest of y'all, hey, figure it out. But but no, man.
I've been known to do that a time or two myself.
I love it.
All right. Mo the Show Gaming, what's going on? We are with Fish Lee, artist, writer, creator of the Greenzone. He has a Kickstarter out right now that you guys can go check it out, please. It's Greenzone Life in the Blocks issues 1 through 4. So let's talk about that, because for most indie creators, just getting to issue 1 is impressive for them. You're now on issue 4. How does that feel, knowing that you're working on your 4th book that you are self-producing?
It's my 15th book overall of my own, but I'm super glad to finally get to this 4th issue, because there's been a gap between issue 3 and 4.
A big gap.
But life, things come up, things have to get done, and
I heard you were blaming TikTok. I heard you were blaming TikTok for the gap. That's what I heard.
Wow.
No,
we love you, TikTok. We love you all to our viewers on TikTok. We love you.
Absolutely. No, man, it's just, things happen. And also, it partly came down to what people were asking for next. And I had a lot of people asking me for the next Greenzone or the next Caw. And then after Fishtails came out, I had a whole bunch of people asking me about Alice. And that's a story that I really want to tell long term. So I got that issue out, and I'm going to be doing more issues of that this year. And then, but Green Zone wasn't finished. Like, and I'm not saying Green Zone's finished, but the first 4-issue arc that covers their first shift wasn't done. And I cannot be the guy that starts like part 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, and then doesn't finish it. I cannot be that dude. So I
You don't
had
have
to
to-
make time to force it in.
Okay, I get it. I will be finishing Ruby from Planet Oz and Starcore eventually. I understand issue 1,
Hey.
both of those have been out for a few years, but I will be finishing those.
And Fish, it's okay if somebody else draws these books, man. You don't have to do all the work yourself. I know that
They
you
charge
wanna
more than my artist does. I still got to pay my artist because this sucker, man, he eats every freaking day like it's a job and needs this big fancy house full of comic books and stuff. It's ridiculous. He's going over the top. I still have to pay my guy, but I can get by. My guy will squeeze some pennies to work for me that he won't do for everybody else. So, yeah.
I think it's great, man. And that's something that me as a writer and creator, like of course I have to work on the budget. I have to figure out how to pay everybody to do all the jobs. Kyrie knows about that. But you as an artist who's also writing these stories, like how do you I think you said, basically you're going to do what people are asking for, which makes sense. You go where the demand is. But when you have a story that you want to tell, can it be frustrating to have to, put that story aside for a while if it's not what the people are asking for?
It is. And that's a really hard thing about indie comics is you can have an idea that you dearly love and you think is great, but for whatever reason, nobody's buying right now.
Cough, Starcore. Cough.
I like Starcore, man. Like, Kyron, man.
I love Starcore too. Nobody buys it. So, what to say?
A big part of the reason that I started on Greenzone when I did, I wanted to start on my Alice story, but there were several other stories that came out from like Alterna and Image and stuff that had like featured very similar themes of time travel and white-haired kids and things like that. And I didn't want to seem like I was ripping that off when I've been working on this story for 30 years. So I decided to put it on hold and release it at a different time when there wasn't so much direct competing stuff right then. I absolutely love Greenzone. It's an amazing story. I could be perfectly happy telling it for the rest of my life. I did not expect the whole world to change and the whole Black Lives Matter movement and Blue Lives Matter nonsense and all the stuff that happened. It's gotten to a point now that even though I love this story with all my heart, it's a very hard pitch at Comic Cons. Because as soon as I mention they're cops, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. You've already made up your mind that I'm on the other side of the fence for whatever reason. And maybe it's because I'm an old white guy and the beard and, young kids think, oh, well, he must be a back to blue kind of guy or something. It seems like there's always this issue when I say that they're cops and people are like, and they get that look. And that's not what it is. It's not pro-cop propaganda. It's not anti-cop. It is these guys' life sucks. And this desperate way is their only way out. The system is corrupt. The system's designed to hold them down. Can they fight their way through it to try and make something better for themselves despite how much the world is out to get them? And I want to show the hypocrisy of it and all of this stuff, how it's not easy to pull yourself up out of this hole and how hard it is to make it past the gangs and stuff. Like Virgil is considered like he must be part of the gang because one of the gangs that causes a lot of trouble in their area runs the block that he lives in. And he has to walk right past the leader's apartment to get out of the building. There's no choice in that. That's the only way out. But that's going to be on videotape and that's going to be held against him later on. And, right now in issue 4, one of the higher ups is, using it as a reason to say he must have been in on the explosion because it's his gang that attacked the police station. And just coincidence it was his first day? I don't think so. And
man, I think
he can't win for losing.
I think that's crazy. Something you said a minute ago made me think, that we need to come together and like pitch each other's books, because the perspective that you just shared about, you being a big white guy with a beard, I saw Javon post earlier, it might have been today or yesterday. He was talking about how he has trouble with pitching to black people because he might, one of his pitches is, hey, do y'all like black superheroes? And then black people come up and be like, man, you trying to sell me something, like they're even more resistant to that. And I'm like, if I were to pitch Greenzone, like somebody might receive it differently. Somebody might, receive that pitch differently. And if you pitch, Heat or Ace Blade or Starcore, somebody might receive that differently. And shout out to Ro Lamb, who's in the comics, who is a master of the pitch. Man, I've seen that guy. He's so good. He's so good when it comes to like pitching comics. That is crazy. So I think, man, I wish that there was some kind of way, I know we're all in different parts of the world, but if we can get together at conventions and things like that and pitch for each other, like, and advocate for each other, I think that would really help. Like, and that's something,
hearing how other people will pitch your stuff will really change. Like when I come back from the bathroom and hear like how somebody has been pitching my book, that doesn't normally do it, whether it's the person next to me trying to be helpful or my kid or my wife or whatever, or I go on a show and somebody's like, oh man, I loved Call. Like it's like a love letter to Saturday, man. It's like a bloody love letter to Saturday morning cartoons is what, one dude said when I was on his show. That's now my pitch for Call. Like that's how I explain it. And it's the perfect pitch. Getting other people to pitch it to you and stuff is huge help.
Yeah,
I think all of that also is we need to communicate better as creators with each other and not be afraid to put ourselves out there and ask for help. Hey, can you review my pitch on this? What do you think about this? And get that feedback from each other, because a lot of us are scared to share that because we're scared of the feedback we're going to get. We're scared that we're going to hear, oh, you should change this, you shouldn't do this type of thing. And we need to get over that a little bit also.
Yeah. But if you find people that you can trust and people that you respect, like you guys, like I know if I put something out in front of you guys, like you may tell me that some part of it sucks or I did something wrong or this is confusing or this is unnecessary. And that might kind of hurt my feelings because that might be my favorite little thing that you said was unnecessary. But I come to you guys because I trust you with something. If you say this wasn't necessary, it's probably not. And I need to take a hard look at it and see, does it need to be taken out altogether or can it be trimmed or can it be moved somewhere else? And, trust in that. That's why I bring people around me like T.S. Luther, man. I love that dude. I really respect his writing. I respect his eye for things. So like I'm always sending him pages and getting his feedback on it and stuff. One of the better choices an editor I've ever used. And, and he's not afraid to say, hey, this would be better if we changed this whole thing and did it from a different direction or something. And
I remember reading TS's Tokyo Fire. I want to say, I don't know if I got it off Kickstarter or TikTok, because I follow him on TikTok too. And I don't know if I got it off of one or the other, but I was surprised at how good it was, for a first issue. So definitely, how is it? I know you just talked about how great he is, but when did he start editing for you, and how has your process kind of changed?
Man, he started on, I want to say issue maybe 3 or 4 of Caw, doing for me. So he's done Caw and he's done Fishtails and Alice and now issue 4 of Greenzone. And he wrote a story for me in Fishtails, and he's probably going to be writing the script for issue 2 of Alice. Like we've talked about the story and plotted out. He knows where I want it to go, but he's a great writer, and I'm not so precious with it that it's my idea. It has to be mine. Mine. I don't care. Let him write the script, man. Give him an opportunity to write another awesome script. I get the opportunity to illustrate one. He wrote the story for the mini comic that went out with Alice Lost in Wonderland. And it was so good, I ended up adding pages to it and making it a 2-parter that's going to come out half with the next issue because it was just such a good idea. And I was like, oh, this is too much fun. There's all kinds of fun things I want to draw on here. So I had to add more pages to make it fill out.
I love that, man. There's so many people I want to write for Ace Blade specifically, man. But like you said, I have stories that I want to tell,
Mhm.
and I can only make so many books, you know what I'm saying? But there's so many. Brian J. Lambert has sent me some ideas. The one person who did write a Ace Blade short was a local guy here, Hector Mirai, and he did such a great job. Like he just knew what Ace Blade was, and we were happy to get funded during that Kickstarter, and we used it as a stretch goal. So he got his 4-page story got added to the end of that book, and that those things are just great, man. So the collaborative part of making comics is still one of my favorite. It can be frustrating sometimes, but
Sometimes.
it's still one of my favorite parts of creating.
Oh yeah, when you find people where your imaginations run on the same tracks, it's so much fun. When they're going in different directions or on different tracks altogether, that's when it's pulling teeth, and that's when I'm like, I would rather you find an artist that you do gel with better and that you have fun with, and that this can be a fun process, rather than pulling teeth trying to help me understand what is cool about this thing that I can't wrap my brain around. And every once in a while that happens. Not very often. I've been really lucky to work with some really awesome people.
Now I know why you guys don't ever want to work with me. I'm too hard to work with, apparently.
Tyron, we literally have a whole book together. Stop playing. Stop playing around, yo.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
I've done all kinds of covers and stuff for you, man. I'd be doing so right now if you'd let me.
If I could afford you, you're too expensive.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, this dude eats all the freaking time, man, every day.
Tell him to stop eating.
I've been trying, man. You think it works? I've had my wife hiding the cookies. That don't work. He can find them. Like a freaking schnauzer, man. He can sniff out anything.
Whoa! Wow. Pause. What?
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
Let's talk about your Kickstarter, because that's going on right now. Let me bring that up real quick, because you're on what do we have here? Got 23 days to go. Yep, there we go. And you're at $1,200, almost halfway funded. I mean, what can people expect from this Kickstarter that maybe if you've done past issues 1 through 3, maybe what can we expect that's different from this one?
I mean, we see more of the world. We see more of what's going on. We see more of the depth of how complex the stuff that's going on is. But, at the same time, this is also like the aftermath of this big attack. So nearly the entire thing takes place in the hospital, and, following people in the hospital and their treatment, and are they going to live or die after this, and the suspicions and stuff going on, the people that are making plays for the camera, the councilman that's making a big show of being on screen, coming in and talking to everybody and getting lots of attention during this tragedy. Alpha is there with Sergeant Terry is there looking for a mole, still trying to figure out, who's behind this. He's pretty well sure Virgil has to have something to do with it, because the attack came from the gang that runs the blocks that he lives in. How bad is Virgil damaged after that fire? Like, we saw how bloody he was. All the skin's burned off of his back. Is he going to survive that? Is Danny going to survive having an entire police station fall on him? All of this and more will be answered in issue 4. And apparently I'm going to get barked over real bad.
Can't control the dogs. We love the dogs here.
Yeah.
Okay. But outside of the story, what rewards? What kind of things can we expect? Or is this just the digital copy, physical copy, or what else?
Yeah, I've kept it. I'm keeping my campaigns pretty bare bones, like to what I know my backers want. And so we've got the digital copies, we got the physical copies, we've got T-shirts that are hand pressed by your Uncle Fish. Like, I make sure I get good quality T-shirts and press a quality DTF prints on there myself, so I know it's something that's going to last for you a long time. You can get all of the back issues, all of the regular add-ons that I've already got, like the acrylic figures for Alice and Big Ten, the variant cover with the Ace Blade crossover is available as an add-on. There's also a delayed shipping add-on now.
We didn't need to talk about the Ace Blade one. We could have just skipped over that, honestly.
Man, that's one of my favorite covers, man. That thing is
more time.
Sharp.
I love it.
The delayed shipping add-on is one of my favorite things that we've added this time around.
Okay,
it's right up there with the build your own tier. But with the delayed shipping for $1, at the end of the campaign, once I get the money, I'll refund the shipping that you paid for this campaign and hold your package, and then we can ship it with one of the later packages, for the next campaign, or you can delay shipping again and do it with the next campaign or the next campaign. I can send it to you at the end of the year. For people that are like overseas, that's a great deal. For my friends that are in the UK or India or Singapore or Australia or Ireland, like for these guys, it costs out the wazoo just to ship one comic to them. It costs the same thing for most of those places to ship one comic as it does to ship 3 pounds of comics. So might as well save up till the end of the year and just send you one package for one price rather than have to pay that shipping every time.
I like that. I like the idea of you holding my package for when I'm ready for it. So, you just keep my package safe. And, it's in your caress and your comforting arms of my package. I love that idea.
I'm sure that's the big selling point to you. For you, there's going to be an extra little surcharge on there, but that's clean up and all.
You're going to charge me more to handle my package?
Yes, I will. Absolutely.
Why are you always charging me more to handle my package?
Good talking to all y'all.
It was nice not being canceled for a minute.
I don't understand what the problem is. My package is great. Why would you want to charge
shipping and handling?
Oh, okay. All right. No, I mean, this is actually really cool. And this is a cool idea that you're actually doing almost everything, even the T-shirts yourself. So that's actually really cool.
Yep, I am. I do all of the prints and the posters and stuff myself here on my big printer. I've got some ideas for some stretch goals that I want to do. Like, I actually have a 3D model of Virgil that my wife got me for Christmas a couple of years ago.
You do? Yes, I remember that.
And I'm thinking about releasing like the 3D file when we hit goal as like an add-on that you can buy and download yourself and print your own version. I would have to find somebody that could do really good prints if I was going to print them and paint them myself, which I could do. But at least this way, if you have a 3D printer or know somebody with one, you could take it and download it and print it yourself. And the nice thing is the figure actually has round joints put into the shoulders and stuff. And I'm going to put magnets in so I can move his arms and stuff, make him action figure.
It looks like you didn't mention this before, but you're even have an option of original artwork, not connected directly to Greenzone, but
well, there's 2 covers for Greenzone. There's 2 variant covers from issue 1 and 2 on there, or no, issue 2 and 3 that are there. I actually have a painting that was a actual physical traditional painting from the first issue too, but I haven't put that on there. But yeah, I've got pages from the Caw story from Fishtails. I've got one of the variant covers from Caw. I've got 2 of the variant covers from Greenzone on there that you can get at good prices if you want original artwork from the books.
That's dope. Okay. I love original art.
Yes.
I've been having a lot of fun on SketchUp with Mog and Mel on the EXP network. I've been having a lot of fun on there doing original traditional artwork again, and I'm really thinking about trying to incorporate more of that into my own stuff. It's a little bit more time consuming to do it that way, but it's really fun to get to do it that way. And there's little things you can do traditionally that are just harder to do digitally, but it's hard to give up that speed, man. I can work so much faster digitally.
I think I realized that inking digitally is probably one of the reasons why my Bell's palsy returned, because
Really.
I'm so hyper focused when I'm inking that I forget
Mm.
to blink and move your face. And I'm just
Oh, wow.
focused on that. So I think a lot of my inking and going forward is going to be all traditional.
I could see that. Like
I mean,
Because when
I
you're staring at that screen for hours and you don't notice time passing, you're just like this.
Oh man, I use that hyper focus for like pain relief and stuff. Like if at the end of the day I get done working and my wife brings home dinner after work and we eat and we're talking, if I'm hurting or my Tourette's is too bad and I'm ticking, like I'm no good to get up and like try and do dishes now because I'm way too shaky. I'm gonna break something. But if I sit down and start working again, I know I'm going to hyper focus on that page and everything's going to disappear. I'm not going to feel pain. I'm not going to realize time's passing. And I can just sit there and disappear into that work and not hurt for another 2 or 3 hours until my wife finally like taps me on the shoulder, like, hey, I'm dying. I want to go to bed. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let me turn this off and go to bed.
No, it's true.
I love
It's
it.
true.
Hey, man, it's so crazy that like each person, each creative has like a different process for what works for them. But you know, I know that the fish, like I said, you're the fastest pen in indie comics. So I'm just glad that you've been able to keep creating and fight through the pain and right now the sickness, because it's definitely tough. Um,
Mhm.
so, but you know what time it is, Mr. Fish. You've been on this show plenty of times,
Once or
so
twice.
you know it's time for quick takes. Kyron, whenever you're ready.
I'm not really ready, actually, but we're going to do it.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, come on.
Quick
Yeah.
take. I love it. I love it.
I told you I wasn't ready.
You close though. You got a good
They
graphic
keep changing
there.
everything. They keep moving where everything is, and I don't know where like to find our videos and stuff.
Right, right. Okay, so for anybody who hasn't seen the show before, Quick Takes is a rapid Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the web. Um, these questions are designed to
Sorry.
get our audience to know you a little bit better. And we got 5 questions you're gonna answer. You're gonna get 45 seconds to answer each one, and then we're gonna end with a top 5 list. So, question number 1. Now, Kyron has made me think that you may not even know what this is, but I know that you, like me, Mr. Fish, we try to stay away from the sweets, but I love a good soda. Um, and I happen to know that you're a fan of Dr. Pepper. Have you had Cheerwine? And if so, Dr. Pepper or Cheerwine, which one is the best?
Oh man, I love me a good cheer wine. I love the old commercial. Do you remember the commercial from the '90s? Like the okay, so I was with my dweebo date Emerson, and I had that whole freaking thing memorized. I thought cheer wine was just a thing like from South Arkansas because like once I moved to Central Arkansas, I couldn't find it anywhere anymore,
Oh wow.
and now it's in most of the stores and stuff. But like I used to have friends like bring it in for me when they'd fly to other states and would find it. And I'm like, oh, bring me some. And I get like a little care package with some in it. Uh,
Yeah.
What the hell
I'm,
is cheer wine?
it's basically a cherry Dr. Pepper. I
Yeah.
like cherry Dr. Pepper better than Cheerwine, but I like Cheerwine better than Dr. Pepper. So
Okay. Okay. That's legit right there. Kyron, I'm gonna send you some Cheerwine because it's a drink that was born in the Carolinas. But it is primarily here in the South. It's an I don't know, it might be an acquired taste for you. Do you drink sweet tea at all? Drink
Yeah.
sweet tea?
I try
You
not to
might like
because, diabetes, but yeah.
Yeah, no, there's definitely diabetes
oh,
in it.
Cheerwine ain't good for that. But
No, it's definitely diabetes in it. But I'll send you one so that you don't die.
Okay, if you've
Okay.
had cheer wine before, please put in the chat where you're from so I can know if this is like really is like Danny says, just in the South, because I bet you no one on the West Coast has heard cheer wine unless they've been to the East
It's
Coast.
delicious. It's delicious.
Okay.
there's a
Um,
South California.
yeah, yeah.
There is.
Um, Question number 2. So, if I'm not mistaken, recently you watched the series Static Shock. And I saw a post where you said that you've already cried twice. So tell me what it is about Static Shock that has you crying, and does it relate to your time, you as a creator, or you as a family man?
Man, it was the writers on Static Shock. Like that episode in particular that had me crying was the episode where he goes to Africa and is like working with the African hero and stuff. Like that episode had me crying about them, getting to go back to Africa and experience that and how emotional that was for them. They made me cry as a white man in America about how important this was to Static, to Virgil, and his family getting to go experience that. And they made me cry. That is brilliance. That is amazing freaking writing right there.
I do need to specify that with this being Black History Month, Fish is actually 1/32nd black. That's why he's on the show in February. So I do need to specify that why he is allowed on the show.
It's got to be more than that because my descendants keep getting blacker.
So, he's 130. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. No, that was a good show, man. I just watched like a YouTube documentary about the downfall of that show and how like it was actually very well rated show, but they couldn't sell toys is the reason why they it just didn't get there. There was a rights thing, and then but whatever. That show was great. Did you see the Shaq episode? The Shaq episode was great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I watched the whole series.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right,
I can get Cheerwine here in Sacramento. There's a store 3 miles away. I can get it from.
There we go.
What are you wasting time for, man?
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. No. We're gonna take a Cheerwine break. No,
stay on the stream. We'll be back.
I'll stay here in Pitch Greenzone. You go get a Cheerwine.
Right. Question number 3. So, we talk about indie comics all the time, but I want to know, your main character from Greenzone is Virgil, and I think if I were to give him a mainstream counterpoint, it might be somebody like The Thing or somebody like that. But I want to know for you, if you were to get a Virgil versus a mainstream hero, Virgil, a portal opens, Virgil walks through, and he has to face off against any mainstream hero. Who would you like to see him face, and what kind of story would that be?
Squirrel Girl. Because
okay.
Because I think she's about the only one that maybe stands a chance of not just whooping his butt right out the gate and like get to know who he is and find out what's going on. Because if anybody else sees a giant lizard monster come through a portal, like if that happened in Metropolis, they're going to assume, oh, it's one of the lizard men from under the city and just, beat him up and, and he ain't coming to start any static. He ain't coming to start no trouble. Like, so
Batman's definitely beating Virgil up.
Oh man, he's like, you're not fooling me, Killer Croc. Like, yeah.
You won't even ask questions with the batarang.
And the thing is, like, Virgil is a giant and he's got these big massive claws, but he's really not a fighter. Like, I mean, if he gets his hands on you, he can't hurt you really bad, but he's not a fighter. He's not trained. A real trained fighter is going to kick his butt pretty quick. That's why on the variant cover with Ace Blade, like, he's in a lot of pain.
Oh yeah. That was but Ace Blade got some scars too, so I like it. All right, question number 4. I saw a post that showed me that we have something else in common, like another thing. Sure. I saw that you posted a drum set, and you were talking about how you used to play drums. Is that right? What's up with that? I'm a drummer myself.
Really? I did not know that. And I have studied you. I'm surprised I did not know that. Oh man, yeah, I'm a drummer from way back, like bad hair metal bands back in high school, all the way through, like played through church for years and years as an adult.
Danny was like a metal band too.
once the hair falls out, the metal band goes with it. I was in a traveling praise band for a while there. We traveled all over Arkansas and stuff. It was a lot of fun. And that was at the deepest part of my disability. So it was nice to be able to get out and go do stuff because the band could help me. And like, if I can't see or I can't walk, they could help carry me onto stage and, get me behind my drums. And it's my drum set. I know where everything is, so I don't have to be able to see. I can still play. And so I could just tear it up back there. And as long as they don't forget to take me off stage at the end, which happened more than once, we're good.
Man, did they just leave you?
Yeah, a couple of times. Like everybody's cheering, everybody just walked off. And like in one of them, we're at this outdoor concert and I'm on a raised stage. So not only am I blind, but there's like a 4-foot drop behind me. So I can't even try and shuffle off myself or I will fall and break my legs. So I just had to sit there and wait until somebody realized I wasn't with them. And then they came back and got me down.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but that was just
that's funny.
That is
it's objectively funny
and terrible. Okay, Fish Lee. Question number 5. You know where I was doing number 5, top 5 list for number 5. And anytime I find out that there's a fan of Star Trek on this show, I asked them for their top 5 Star Trek characters. I assume that you're a Star Trek Star Trek fan because you know who Gul Dukat is. I just started watching DS9 again. So
you did go way back you went way back to my Facebook page.
It's my only job. It's my only job here.
One job, man.
I remember that post because I saw Gul Dukat on another show, and I was like, "Oh
my god!" So, I want to know, who are your top 5 Star Trek characters?
Oh man, Worf. Absolutely, Data, or no. Worf, Geordi, Data, Odo, and the Doctor from Voyager.
The Doctor from Voyager, man. I have a thing for the android, like all the characters who like Data and the Doctor who are artificial life forms who are learning humanity. Like those are some of my favorite characters.
The whole fight to have to prove your worth and your validity and fight for your right to be viewed as a sentient being, like it's terrifying, but that's the kind of thing that we've had to go through in this world time and time again, and I freaking love it.
Being black people like this, we always have to fight for our.
I'm saying, fight the power.
There we go. There we go. I love. I'm watching. Like I said, I'm watching DS9 right now, and Quark is one of my favorite characters, man. That dang on Ferengi. But yeah, man. Thanks for doing that, man. I always love talking comics. And Quick Takes is brought to you this week by what is it?
Gemini
Comic Supply. If you
I was going to say, I know it.
If you use the coupon code AceBlade at checkout, you will get 10% off. I was drawing a blank.
What kills me is I recite that with you every week when you say that on the show at home. And the last 2 times I ordered Gemini mailers, I forgot to use that code.
Man.
Danny owes you money then.
Yeah, I'm saying. I ordered the big packs.
Yeah, man. That 10% it does come in handy because I ordered plenty of these things. But man, thank you for doing that. Kyron, back to you, sir.
Fish, we appreciate you being on. This has been fun. We want to make sure everybody follows you though, keeps up with your work. I did put in the chat a few times the link to your Kickstarter, but what social media can we follow you on and keep up with you?
I am Mr. Fish Comics everywhere. Sometimes it's like Mr.Fish.comics. Sometimes it's an underscore or something. But it's Mr. Fish Comics everywhere. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. I'm really going to be focusing a lot of attention on my YouTube because it feels like, other than TikTok, that's about the only place I have that I can really try and grow something, because Facebook just isn't going to let anything get seen by anybody. So,
unless you pay. No.
Yeah, I still post there, but I'm screaming into the void. I get like 2 likes on every post I make, so it really feels like a waste of effort. But I keep doing it because that's where most of my friends are, and most of my clients and stuff, and my brothers and sisters in comic book creation. So I hang out there for that, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Danny, where can people check you out?
The best place to find me is on Kickstarter right now. We got some time left. We got 27 days left for the Kickstarter. We're almost half funded, so definitely check us out there. But if you want to find me on social media, it's at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms. Kyron, where can people find you?
You can find me at tauruscomics.com, but you can also find me next week in San Diego at the Black Comics Day event, February 15th and 16th, the World Beat Center. My understanding is Fish is going to be there also participating.
I'm the MC, actually.
But you can find me on all social media platforms at Taurus Comics. And if this is the first time you've ever checked out our
You're gonna get us
podcast,
in trouble, man.
you can go to our website, fourtailspodcast.com. You can listen to our previous episode. You can buy some merchandise. You can check out upcoming shows. Update though, we will not have a show next week. Next week is Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Danny and I decided to spend time with our loved ones instead of ourselves. So we're just trying to.
I thought that was going another way for a second there.
Oh, okay.
I thought we were spending time with each other. What happened?
No, I don't. I spend enough time with you.
I bought all that chocolate for nothing.
All this chocolate. And I do need to apologize. I did not post the Black Comic Creator post today. I've been doing that for the past 6 days. If you guys are interested in following that, every day this month, I'm going to be posting a short blurb about a Black comic creator for Black History Month. And I forgot to do that today, so I'm going to do that in a little bit. But, join us, though, in 2 weeks, where we're going to have First Noble Studios on the show to talk about their books. And this is going to be interesting because they're coming directly from Nigeria, and it's going to be 2 a.m. for them to be on our show. So we appreciate them staying up early, late. I don't know how you want to call that. But yeah, we appreciate that and hope you guys check it out because their stuff looks amazing. But until then, everybody, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.